So today I would like to share from Michael Max, is a Instagram account, Michael Maacks, and these are teachings from the Maggid. So everything you see, this is the teachings of the Maggid. The Maggid is the teacher of the Alter Rebbe who started Chabad, and this is the one who was the successor of the Baal Shem Tov, the one who made the Hasidic movement become successful at a time where they had like a man who they called Shabtai Tzvi, was like a messiah who ended up not being able to save everybody. It's controversial. When I say save everybody, I mean it wasn't like a revealed worldly messiah. Okay, so this is what he teaches. He's like a bridge between the Hasidic movement to specifically the Chabad movement. Everything you see, everything you hear, every quote-unquote coincidence that happens to you, they'll arrive to awaken you. Another quote is, in order for a grain of wheat to become many grains, it must return to its root, the hidden power of growth in the soil. Similarly, when a person returns to their root, their inner traits can change: love, awe, and all other related qualities. When the verse says, like my beloved, amongst the youths, it means that the Creator's love for me is not because others are worse than I am. Rather, he loves me intrinsically, like a parent loves their child by nature. A love that depends on nothing and never fades. And that's something that I'm going to be sharing soon about, because I didn't know that I necessarily grew up with that. Everything is by definition complete. Nothing can be split into parts, for all is one, the infinite one. This is where, like, maybe we're in the week of the sphere of Gevurah, so it's like we like to think of everything as with limits and edges. But here it's saying that everything bleeds into each other. Okay. Awe, like, similar to fear, like when they say, oh, I'm awestruck, like, could say it's awesome. Like, the real word awe, like a higher level fear, like almost like a dread, like it's awesome. It stops you in your tracks. It's actually a feminine receptive energy. While love, we call it like the great love, the divine love, is actually a masculine energy because it's expressive. The receiver receives abundance from the giver. So receiver, let's say I'm receiving. I receive abundance from the giver, and the giver receives delight from the receiver, because the giver's will is to give, and it's fulfilled through his receiver. Through the receiver, not his, sorry, a receiver. Thus, each one is both a giver and receiver. So backing it up again, let's say I'm the receiver and you give to me. I receive your abundance, like what you gave me. You have extra enough to give. But I, the receiver, give you delight because your will is to be fulfilled through the receiver. And divine, the will of the one who's a giver is to delight the receiver. So both are giving and both are receiving. So where we think there's edges is often like, it's good I could pause the video. Divine energy fills everything when an object has taste, smell, appearance, love, or the like. We can mentally strip away its physical form and receive its spiritual essence, for example, the taste or the smell. And thus we see the divine life force dwelling within, like a soul in a body, in every object and movement. Sparks of vitality flow from the Creator. When beauty enters a person's thoughts, he lives in a world of beauty. When love enters a person's thoughts, he lives in a world of love. The same applies to all other qualities. I remember someone telling me they read a book when they were a kid of the Twits with, if you think beautiful thoughts, you become beautiful. Or maybe it was the witches. I don't know. Roald Dahl wrote the book. The body cannot bear too much life force, and the life force itself cannot endure being confined within the body. Therefore, the moment vitality enters the body, it rises back upward. This is called breath. Next, when a person connects to the original will, they can draw from it whatever transformation they wish, even the power to create a miracle. So they say nothing stands in the way of the will. This is the way of thinking that you can change everything from your true will, the original will. And finally, faith becomes a vessel for truth. The more faith a person has, the more truth they can accept. So I want to share in my therapy, because I wanted to talk about this love, like with the parents. I feel that I was looking often for a parent in the men, like, and any man who could carry me actually had their own issues. Maybe they were even enabling me. So at those moments where I felt like the distance panic, like I was a baby, I was dependent for safety, maybe because I was in an incubator when I was born. I tried to breathe the fluid in. I had been born sideways, had the cord wrapped twice around my neck. And so this accidental, unconscious exploitation of a man who's not my father, but has the father instinct, thinking of different men in my life, and everything, like, from the ways in which to feel safe, maybe we all even call it not sinister, but even the manipulative, lashing out, cruel, harsh, emotional pressure and guilting and harassing and spamming and shaming and cursing ways, because of the expectation that the partner or the other person would be the one we finally do what my father and mother didn't want, is actually why a relationship didn't work out with somebody, because they wouldn't be willing to, like, carry me, for example. And I spoke with my friend about the fact that it didn't work out with that person, and how I decided to take a break. It was like that I would have to learn that self-regulation to be my own baby. And during that time, that person would have to learn how to be more supportive or generous or caring or to carry, because you don't want to have a co-parent, for example, when you start a family with somebody who doesn't know how to communicate. And I think we're going to stop here. And I wish everybody all the best. All right, bye.